first Hollow Knight stream on the new stream setup. I did one little test stream a couple of days ago with Paige. We got together and played a few bosses in Elden Ring that she was stuck on, and everything went really well. I was really happy to hear from people in chat that like the stream looked noticeably better. So I'm hoping that like this whole game stream, we're kind of like rechristening the Twitch channel here with this stream, hoping that it goes well, because Elden Ring was definitely a bumpy ride. I streamed for such a long time, people, on a MacBook from 2015, I think, an 8-year-old MacBook that was just like barely holding it together. So we are now in a much better situation. I hope the whole night stream goes well. That is me saying that. Anyways, I have kind of a interesting like history with this game, or relationship to this game, that I wanted to talk about for a second before I jump into the actual game, which is that this whole Twitch channel has kind of been devoted to me streaming the Souls games, right? Because those were games that sort of got me back into video games in a certain way, or got me to think about video games in a very profoundly different way than I had in the past, and it sort of like changed like my taste in video games and what I want out of video games. But I played Hollow Knight before any of the Dark Souls games, and Hollow Knight is a game that is like indebted to Dark Souls, as well as other things like Super Metroid and that whole genre. But I struggled so much with Hollow Knight when I first played it. It really felt like the first game that I had encountered that was really like requiring a certain degree of like intentionality and discipline and like control, because hello, look at that, we have like new animations on the stream. We have a whole like souped up new system here. By the way, I'm just gonna quickly sidebar from my relationship with Hollow Knight and mention that I made myself a little quest log note, so I can just like hopefully seamlessly move back and forth between these things whenever I'm like at a safe place in Hollow Knight. Because, circling back around, this game is really hard. The game sound is way too loud. Thank you for telling me that, Ted. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Does that sound better? Tell me if you can hear me better. But yeah, sorry. Two trains of thought going at the same time here. One being, like, we do have those cool new stream animations. Like if people donate, or if new people follow, it'll like show up with like big things over to the left, and I can edit them and play around with them later on. That's kind of new for me. But also, over to the main point, Hollow Knight is hard. Struggled with it a lot the first time. Now that I have played all the Dark Souls games and kind of like reoriented my like relationship with video games in regards to like difficulty and learning and skill and things like that, I think that I'm going to enjoy it so much more. I actually pulled this game up when I was on an airplane recently. I like opened up the like Steel Soul run that you can do where it has permadeath, you can't die, and I got like a decent bit into it and like loved it so much, and like it felt so much better than it did the first time I played it, because like I don't know, it like I felt like I was sort of speaking the game's language a little bit more. I was learning the things the game was trying to teach me, and so I think that going back to this is going to feel like a totally new experience. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and jump into it, and I think when I hit start game, it's going to show me a cutscene. So I guess one other thing that I'll say before I show the cutscene is like, I think one way in which I was not able to kind of like read this game the first time I played it is that I wasn't familiar with like the storytelling style of a Dark Souls game, where you are getting like these fragmented, piecemeal, like visions of this world or this society that you've been dropped into, and you are kind of asked to do again like the work and like the intellectual like exercise to like put it together. I think I'm gonna try to like actually read and understand this game as like a text this time around. So I'm probably gonna like read all the like NPC dialogue aloud on stream, and like puzzle over lore and stuff like that. It won't just be like fights every stream. I don't think I'm gonna kind of take it at my own pace and just enjoy it. Anyways, Hollow Knight, let's do it. That is my original 58 hours. That felt like a very long time at that point in my life. Hey Ornstein, good to see you. In wilds beyond, they speak your name with reverence and regret. For none could tame your savage souls, yet you the challenge met. Under palest watch you taught we changed, base instincts were redeemed, a world you gave to bug and beast as they had never dreamed. Elegy for Hollow Nest, the teacher. Game sound is still too loud. Maybe I can just turn on my monitor. Okay, so I think what I just saw happen there is me, my little bug knight. I don't think that I am the Hollow Knight. I think that the Hollow Knight is like a character. Maybe I am the character? I don't know. Right now I'm just going to refer to me as the bug knight. I have just like awakened essentially from a coffin, which is kind of like the Breath of the Wild opening, or for more like Souls heads people, like the Dark Souls 3 opening. I don't really know like what my significance is, but there's some stuff. There's some sort of cosmic supernatural stuff going on, and I'm a world of bugs. That's what I know at this point. Please, Ted, if I'm currently having an internal battle about spoilers. How much do I want to kind of read this game and like figure it out as I go along? But I do want to be corrected on stuff that I'm wrong. So, because I don't want to be piecing together this. I don't want to have the wrong like puzzle in my head. So, I guess my question that I want you to answer, Ted, is like, can I refer to myself as the Hollow Knight? Higher beings. These words are for you alone. Okay, so I am a higher being. Your great strength marks you amongst us. Focus your soul, and you shall achieve feats of which others can only dream. Man, the game's master volume is still too loud. Hold on. I'm gonna... Streaming is a cursed art form. Okay, I'm just gonna play a little bit of the game. And, like, I want to hear from folks in stream of, like, whether or not it is, like, listenable. If it is unpleasant, I will stop and troubleshoot and figure out another time to do this. But let's just get into it. Streaming. So I'm a little ghost. I'm a little ghost exploring, and I can heal myself. I really like the healing system. I would love to talk about it more when I know that stream is. Ornstein, I don't think it's going to be a like same time, same day every week sort of thing. It's just going to be somewhat sporadic. It's not always Sunday. But I probably will do several afternoon streams. That's probably the best to do it. Can I get an audio update from anybody? So the game is here showing me like mechanics I don't have. I can't double jump. This would be so easy to get to if I could double jump. And I can go back to this later once I have it. But right now, I'm just supposed to be thinking about the fact that this is like a game where I'm going to be like essentially doing the Metroidvania thing of getting new mechanics which unlock new doors that I can circle back around to later in the game. So I have a quest log, right? I want to be able to like take note of important things that I want to come back to, which was not a thing that I thought to do when I first played this game. Are my audio and the application audio in separate channels? Yes. So I have three audio channels. I have my mic, which is labeled like Blue Snowball. I have a desktop audio thing that lets me hear Cam if Cam is on the Discord talking to me. And I have a game audio channel. And for all of them, I can like mute and or output them. Or I can output and or monitor them. And for the game audio, I should be outputting it and monitoring it at the same time. But like anyway, I don't need to like just sit here explaining OBS. I should be playing. But if you want more details, I can give you more details if you want to troubleshoot. I'm still getting used to buttons. I'm playing with a game. So Y is my jump, which makes sense. It's like the button like going up to press. What is this? Okay, it's a little weird. So it's showing me that this is going to be like a Dark Souls, like looping paths structure. What's the heal? A? I also, one thing that I haven't talked about on stream in the past, that has come up from time to time because it's relevant to Dark Souls, is that like, I love Metroidvanias. I've played a lot of Metroidvanias. Recently, like in the past couple of years, I went back and played like some of the foundational, like considered most classics of all time in the genre, like Super Metroid and Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And I don't think that it's any surprise that like a lot of my love and enjoyment of those games is part of why I like Dark Souls 1 so much more than a lot of the other Souls games. Like I love the combat system and like everything that carries over into all of them, but like there is something like special and like I don't know, enjoyable and like comforting to me about the like Metroidvania structure that first one has. Amazing. I love it, and I'm so excited to like experience this with like Lord Ran in mind, because this was certainly like a Metroidvania that is like expanding out past beyond like where Dark Souls always expanded. Higher beings, these words are for you alone. Beyond this point, you enter the land of King and Creator. Step across this threshold and obey our laws. Okay, so what I've learned is that, like, I am a higher being. Ted has told me I can refer myself as a little ghost. But I'm, like, entering a land. And I guess the King and the Creator are the same person. I remember fighting the Radiance at the end of my first playthrough of Hollow Knight. That's probably who's like this is the ruler of. So it's probably the Radiance is the King and Creator, and this is his land. I'm like an outsider. Okay, so yeah, that makes sense to me. There are things kind of like being created out in the world that were outside of the purview of the King and Creator. And he's trying to, like, I guess one of the reasons I'm going to be fighting stuff in this is that, like, the Radiance has essentially like a defense. And I guess... I don't know if my character like knows what they're doing, but I know that eventually what I do is kill the Radiance, right? Bear witness to the last and only civilization, the Eternal Kingdom, Hallownest. The last civilization. Okay, so we're seeing the last gasps of a dying world trope from all the Souls games, and the name of the Radiance's kingdom is Hallownest. Okay, cool. That's so cool. That's so cool that it cuts to black before you finish swinging that last time. It really like frames my character as being this like force to be reckoned with. Like Hallownest needs to be worried about the little ghost who's coming to town. Let's see. Yes, Michael, or Finral. I guess I should just use people's screen names. I have been adjusting. I've kind of been turning up and down both desktop audio and game audio. I'm kind of messing with both of them right now, but what I think is tricky about OBS, this is like one last quick thing I'll say about OBS before jumping into this, so you can create like audio and video sources, right? And you give them a name, and you can also delete them. And when you delete them, I think in some cases they still keep getting used. Like even if I've taken them off of like my mixer board where I'm like looking at all my sources, that source is still like somewhere in the back end of OBS running. And I need to find a way to like access like all the ones I've ever made, and delete the ones that I'm not using anymore. So if you have that answer of like how to deal with that problem, I would love some sort of guidance. But I do need to be able to hear the game, so I'm going to turn this back up on my end. Oh, Ted makes a great point. Hallownest is not the last civilization. Hallownest, what I'm reading is essentially like the propaganda of Hallownest. Like, they don't view other civilizations as civilizations. They think everything is like the untamed wild in kind of like a colonialist way. Yeah, of course they would say that. You meet groups in the game that reject the kingdom of Hallownest. So excited about like digging into the lore of this game, because it does seem to be really well made. It seems like Team Cherry, the team that made this, like they like all the elements of Dark Souls, not just the combat, and they clearly like the lore and world building and character stuff. So, like, I am imagining that they are like doing such a great version of that. Whereas, like, there are times when even FromSoft gets a little sloppy with that stuff, like Dark Souls 3, for example. There's some sloppy stuff in Elden Ring too. But oh, hey Ammo, are you in Discord? Do you want to like get in a live chat with me really quick? If you want to talk about like audio stuff. Otherwise, I'm gonna just like jump into Sweet. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Enjoy Street Fighter. Yep. Thank you. All right. We're ready. The tutorial was also a tutorial on how to use OBS with the new stream setup. We are ready to play the game. 40 minutes into stream. We're at Dirtmouth, which I think is so funny. I think that that's such a funny name for this this essentially like Firelink Shrine area that we're going to come back to so many times over the course of the game. I think that one leg that this game has up over a lot of Metroidvanias is like it has a true hub area that you spend a lot of time in and you kind of want to spend time in. Like you're always kind of pushing out along the edges of the map and like trying to go towards one particular goal or another, but it like behooves you to like be regularly circling back to this space and just chilling there. I mean, not just chilling there for a long time, but like you have important NPCs to talk to, you have things to buy. This guy is going to give you hints and lore along the way. So your trips down into what is essentially like the map of the game, which is like all the underground, are like these little one-off mining expeditions or exploring expeditions to stake out one part of the map that you haven't like fully discovered yet. And yes, as Michael says in chat, or Mo Malley says in chat, that like the earlier parts of the game that you find yourself circling back to change as you play through the game, so it doesn't have to do any sort of like cheap level scaling that kind of like takes a sense of accomplishment or like any sort of like difficulty fluctuation out of the equation. It like just kind of makes those spaces harder and new as you are ready to experience harder and new things with like the lore of the game. So cool. Thank you, Ammo, for being here as long as you were. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna talk to this dude. What's up with him?
Whoa.
Elderbug. Ho there, traveler. I'm afraid there's only me left to offer welcome. Our town's fallen quiet, you see. Also, thanks for the subscription, Fenril. I really appreciate that. I also like seeing that little animation. And I had another one that was like a little dinosaur pixelated heart thing that I think is going to play if I get a new follower at some point. But I may just change the sub one to that between streams. Anyways, ho there, traveler, Elderbug says. I'm afraid there's only me left to offer welcome. Our town's fallen quiet, you see. The other residents, they've all disappeared, headed down that well, one by one, into the caverns below. Used to be there was a great kingdom beneath our town. It's long fell to ruin, yet it still draws folks into its depths. Wealth, glory, enlightenment, that darkness seems to promise all things. I'm sure you too seek your dreams down there. Well, watch out. It's a sickly air that fills the place. Creatures turn mad, and travelers are robbed of their memories. Perhaps dreams aren't such great things after all. Man, this is so interesting immediately. Like, the thematics of this game and, like, how they interlock with like your experience of playing it and the kind of soulsy, like tropey lore. Like, so essentially, instead of like there being this story about travelers going out on quests to like fulfill some sort of prophecy, we're just kind of like at a post-collapse state, where people are like trying to stake out lives for themselves, and that essentially functions the same way that it functions under capitalism, where like people are just like trying to amass whatever resources they can and are going down into the underground. Sort of like Hades Town does this with like the world of work that people take, they like sell their souls to. But I guess we're going to come across like a lot of like factions and like established power structures down there. But most people are not going to end up like making it in that way, right? This is almost like it feels like it's framing itself in like these first couple like NPC encounters as almost this like disillusioned American dream thing of like, you know, people come to was it Hallownest? People come to Hallownest for you know, with dreams of like wealth and prosperity, but you know, this is mostly a land of like suffering and death. Let's see what else. Many years to come, hoping the kingdom would fulfill their desires. Hallownest, it was once called, supposedly the greatest kingdom there ever was, full of treasures and secrets. Now it's nothing more than a poisonous tomb full of monsters and madness. Everything fades eventually, I suppose. I want to know, is Hallownest supposed to be America? Are the devs making political statements with this game? Have they said anything about this? Let's see. I need to catch up on chat. Let's see. Ted says, I did a Hollow Knight tabletop RPG. The combat system is not great, so beware if you try it. And I called my hub Dung Heap, and my Dung Defender was my Elder Bug. And he had the personality of great... I don't know how to say that Dragon Ball Z character's name. Sorry. I also really like, Ted, all the noises the characters make. They speak in kind of a animalese sort of thing. Like, this game is it feels like so handcrafted and like handmade by people, and they're like people sitting down in front of mics and just like making little funny noises to like give you the vibe of that bug. That is a thing that Pokemon kind of has to do or tries to do with like the Pokemon roars, but I find that they are all just kind of feel like noise to me. Like the character noises in this game feel so distinctive and like so of a character. What does this guy do?
Akala.
That thing. Yeah. He sounds kind of like old and wise and yeah. Feeling tired? That bench may be iron, but I assure you it's quite comfortable. There's no better place to collect your thoughts before heading below. Speaking of this guy feeling like old and wise, we're also sort of being presented with like a what's it called? A hero's journey story, right? Where we crossed the threshold into the great unknown, and we're being met with like a wise old sage, right? Plus, I enjoy the company, not that you seem the talkative sort. That is a funny nod to like the fact that I'm going to be a silent protagonist, as all the Souls protagonists are, except for Sekiro, I guess. He talks, doesn't he?
Akala.
Okay, so that's my safe spot. He doesn't have anything else to say to me. Momali thinks it's just a trope and not a American Dream story. You know, not everything has to be American Dream story. But I wonder if there will continue to be like things that feel like they're nudging in a political direction as we like read through this game. For all your mapping supplies, we will be opening soon. Iselda and Cornifer. 2 NPCs that I like a whole lot. I mean, I guess I don't remember getting that much from them past a certain point. But I think they're really delightful, fun, well-drawn characters. Well-drawn, I think, is a compliment that could be given to almost every aspect of this game, like being meant both ways. Like all of these little cartoon sprite animations are so have so much personality to them. They don't really look quite like anything else, and the little quirks of them are really what give the game its or the characters their sense of life, if that makes sense. This is our first big room that is teaching me combat stuff, showing me how enemies are going to sort of circulate the space, and how they will respawn every time I go back through, because, of course, I'm going to come back through this area multiple times just in the next few challenges of the game. And working through this the first time feels like a chore. It's so many bugs. But you eventually just have to realize that is how the game is going to operate. This really big room is in here to teach you that, essentially. To make sure you notice that enemies are going to come back, and that you need to be careful about how much time and energy you're spending on each one. Because you really, these runbacks in this game, runbacks between save points and bosses, or just between areas, are quite long. And if you were to try to kill every single enemy in each of those runbacks, you would not have the health that you need at whatever point whatever the end point of that runback is. How far have I gotten into this game before, Peregrining? I have beaten this game before. I've beaten the true ending against the Radiants, but I did it a very long time ago and was not very good at video games at the time. Even though I have played video games all my life, I think that playing Dark Souls teaches you how to play video games in a new way, or at least it did for me. Here's Cornifer. I love Sky. Hello there. Come down to explore these beautiful old ruins? Don't mind me. I have a fondness for exploring myself. Getting lost and finding your way again is a pleasure like no other. We're exquisitely lucky, you and I. I'm a cartographer by trade, and I'm working on mapping this area right now. Would you like to buy a copy of my work so far? Man, Cornifer, the personality on this character, off the charts. I love it. I love that he is presented to you as an optimist. Like, this world seems immediately so deadly and dangerous and bleak, and the introduction we get to it in that conversation with what's the elder bug's name? Somebody remind me in chat if you know it. That presents this as essentially a hopeless situation, and Cornifer is feeling lucky that he, as a cartography nerd, just gets to explore this uncharted territory and learn about it. Which is what you, the player, are going to do. You're going to have to explore and learn about it, and enjoy doing so if you're going to make it to the end of the game. Elderbug. It's really just Elderbug? I thought he had a name. Interesting that he's just Elderbug. Maybe he lives in it because he lives in a community where essentially no one has lived for a very long time. Names don't really matter. There's not a whole... Well, I guess Cornifer and his wife live up there. There's some sort of community. I wonder if they just call him Elderbug. I don't know. Anyways, I would like to purchase a map. Absolutely. I'm glad that I have exactly enough geo to do that. Okay, L is my map.
Chocolate, correct this.
A map can be a useful thing, but it alone won't show you where you are. If you've not the head for directions, I suggest purchasing a compass from my wife, Iselda. Ooh, yeah, Momali, very true. It's a society that's very focused on titles and honorifics. So, Cornifer doesn't have a title. He's just a guy. He is a guy trying to make a living selling maps. Elderbug, he's just Elderbug. He has transcended the need to have to sell maps. Yeah, Cornifer maybe did only just move in. That's interesting. Yeah. Very possible. He's also doing his little American dream thing, trying to stake out a little living for himself. We are all just little bugs trying to survive in a dangerous world, y'all. Okay, so he says, a map can be a useful thing, but it alone won't show you where you are. If you've not the head for directions, I suggest purchasing a compass from my wife, Iselda. So that is the first thing I want to put in my quest log. I hope the audio doesn't mess up when I open up the quest log. But I want to write some stuff in it. Quest log. Buy compass from Iselda. I think that's her name. Iselda. In Dartmouth. Boom. And I don't know how much it is yet, so we shall see. Cost? IDK. That's the quest log, people. Get used to it. I'm going to be making this text much, much smaller later on through the game, because I am going to have like a lot of branching paths that I can go down at any given point. And I think keeping those things fresh in my mind is actually going to make the game much easier for myself. Ted, I agree. Based Cornifer, based as in he is just a guy. He is just a guy who likes maps, which you, the player, probably do too. I know me and Mo Malley are really big fans of like public transportation and like mapping out areas, like creating mental maps of areas. That is a thing that I just kind of enjoy. I like driving places without using GPS if I can, because I just like feeling like I understand whatever space I'm like working through. And this game scratches that itch so well, and like it is so funny, as Mo Malley has pointed out in chat, that the fast travel system we will eventually get some semblance of access to is going to be a public, like a rundown public transit station. I bet the people who made this game are public transit nerds. I would be willing to bet you. They're Dark Souls nerds and public transit nerds. There's a lot of overlap there. A lot of the enjoyment of Dark Souls has crossover with the joys of public transportation. Okay. She's just now opening our new map shop in Dartmouth, selling all sorts of useful things to wanderers like yourself. She'll even sell some of my old maps from time to time. Yeah, rundown public transit is about America after all. I pop back to see her whenever I finish mapping an area. She's always so excited to see me. Okay. And that characterizes Cornifer and his wife's relationship as like really sweet and cozy and nice. And we are going to get a different version of that when we talk to her next, which is just adding another layer of like life and believability and humor onto the story. Like these characters feel, again, very alive. This world feels very lived in. Dark Souls, the worlds of those games feel almost static. Like everything has been decaying for such a long time that it's all working on autopilot, and there is so little like personhood or humanity, to use another Dark Souls term, to the world of the game. And I just think that one thing that Hollow Knight does so well is like decided to take the other approach and make all of these spaces and all of these people and all these areas. Well, the areas always have personality in Dark Souls, but the people specifically and their network of relationships feel a little bit more alive. That was one thing that I think George R. R. Martin really brought to Elden Ring. If we can kind of attribute any particular specific authorship to him, one thing that feels very similar to what I'm aware of in George R. R. Martin's writing is that he creates these really complicated, intricate families and strange, different types of relationships that all interweave and intermingle with one another, and it's this very broad network of character influence, as opposed to just having a hero and a villain and some side characters. So Elden Ring does that really well. I think Hollow Knight does that really well. Mo Malley also rightfully pointing out how good the sound design in this game. You get such good audio visual feedback in this game. Jumping on this platform and sort of seeing it sink and rise a little bit when I jump on it. I think I love the little sound of the swoopy sword, which is actually a nail. I think that's cute as well, that the bugs fight with nails, or at least the higher beings, such as myself, do, the little ghosts. Maybe I shouldn't be referring to myself as a higher being. That sounds like some Hallow Nest propaganda to me. But I don't know. There's supernatural stuff in this game. Maybe I'm a higher being. I don't know. But yes, I love all the little squishy noises when you hit an enemy, and when you get hit, it feels really noticeably impactful too. I'm gonna heal for a second, just so that I can take a hit and not be worried too much, just so we can enjoy that sound. The whole sound kind of drops out of the game for you to think about, oh, I got hit. What did I do wrong? As opposed to, I think that the more of a mainstream way that games do difficulty and consequences for mistakes is to let you know that you're making them, but not actually inconvenience you that much in any way. Because as we've talked about a lot on stream, most games want you to feel powerful, and a lot of people go to games to feel powerful, and they don't necessarily want to be constantly having to take stock of their own mistakes and failures. But the Souls games and fighting games as well require that. If you are not willing to notice when you have done something wrong and find a way to not do it next time, you are just not going to get to the end of Dark Souls. You are not going to get to the end of Hollow Knight. I mean, I guess you can scratch and claw your way there like I did the first time, but I did not have the right mindset about it. And when I first played it, I remember this game made me so mad. I would just yell at the screen so much the time that I was playing it. And I think that now that I know how to have fun with a game that is demanding that level of skill, and in some cases perfection from me, it's going to be so much more fun. I'm sure I'll eat those words whenever I am bashing my head against something unfun, because I think there are unfun parts of this game, but I'm trying to express that I'm going into this game with a positive mindset. Higher being is just referring to things that come from above ground. Oh, that's super interesting. That's super interesting that they are taking this phrase that the player base is going to associate with religion or any sort of genetic hierarchy, or proposed genetic hierarchy, and just completely repurpose it for something that it does not mean. Interesting. So I am literally a higher being in that I come from overground and I'm going underground. Peregrining says that it's maybe about sentience, and I think that would be an interesting thing to think about and explore while playing through this game and in conversation about it. Like, are the bugs that I'm killing not sentient? Because bugs are things that we kill all the time and don't think about because we think they're not sentient. But this game is making you a bug. It's putting you in a society of bugs, and it's having you kill bugs, which are things that you're used to killing in lots and lots and lots of video games, including Metroid. A lot of bugs you gotta kill in Metroid. And Metroid kind of, at times, asks the player to, reflect upon, question the morality of, like, this sort of colonialist thing that Samus is doing in end of Metroid 2, I believe, is when they do that. But I don't know if like there's a clear, bright line that you can draw between the bugs that are sentient in this game and the bugs that are not. So that would be an interesting thing to think about as I come across like more types of bugs who fall in different places on that spectrum. Hey, Elderbug. A young couple's just recently taken up residence in a house beside the station. They just got here. Seems they're running a map shop, which may excite adventurous types like yourself. She's a tall bug, the wife. I told them to take a larger house, especially given they're all empty, but they liked the look of that one. They're cool. I like them. They like the cozy small house. The way she has to bend just to get through the door, I wouldn't put up with it myself. Okay, so this is our first hint that things are not all what they immediately seem in the corner for, what is her name? Hold on, I have it on my quest log. The corner for Izelda household. Corner for just decided, I like that house. We're going to go there because I want to go there. Do you have anything else to say to me, Elderbug?
Akala.
I was just telling you about the save spot. Yeah. Okay. Let's see Zelda. To continue this conversation really briefly before I talk to Zelda, Peregrine says the enemy bugs aren't exactly in their right mind. That is a thing in Dark Souls 2. A lot of the things that not Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls also, a lot of the enemies are considered quote-unquote hollow. They have essentially been undead so long. They're just sort of going through the motions of what they did in life and have no sentience, or like, that is what a lot of the enemies are called. Hollows is sort of a term for, the enemies who are so far beyond in that like degradation process that like the player is meant to be generally like confident that you're almost like doing them a mercy by putting them down. But of course, that is the thing that is complicated in Dark Souls 2. There is you do a lot of killing that you probably shouldn't be doing in a lot of the Dark Souls games, but you do it because you're a gamer playing a video game, right? Ted says, or Thotham. How do I say your screen name, Ted? Thotham Boss. What is the way to say it? He says, I honestly forgot that he mentions they moved in, or I wouldn't have mentioned it. With what Peregrining was saying, it's part of the madness Elderbug mentioned. A lot of bugs you fight were sentient, but some were never sentient. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that is a question, a thing to consider about real life. Do you consider bugs to be sentient? What is your definition of sentience? There's much philosophy to be read about this that I have not taken the time to read.
Bapanada.
Come to buy a map, have you? It's really my husband you should be dealing with, but what a surprise. He's headed down below. I like the Bafanada thing, like it's a sigh. She seems so like over it. She does not maybe wants to be selling maps. She definitely doesn't want to be living in this house. She's just like sitting here waiting for her husband to come back. She has nothing to do, and her husband is like down underground just like doing his nerdy public transit stuff. And she's like, yeah, I guess he's the guy who should be running the shop, but I'm running his shop for him. Here we go. He'll pop back occasionally to deliver new maps for the store, but I do wish he'd spend a little more time up here. I've not much interest in retail myself. Yeah, like they're doing this, they're working both sides of the street in a way. They're both doing labor, but Cornifer is doing labor that he finds genuinely meaningful, and like it is him indulging his passions in a way, and Iselda is like working at Kmart basically. Like she's just sort of stuck minding the store. Fondly exasperated, I think, is a really good term for it. Thought ham boss. Oh, that's Finral's idea of how to say it. I need to know what Thought ham boss actually wants me to say his name is. Oh, he says, let me bring up sentience versus sapience. I don't know what sapience is. If you want to educate me in the chat, I would be very interested in that. Moving on. Now, let's see what's here for me to sell. Okay, these are things for the quest log. Also, I might move chat. I think we might move chat here. Yeah, there. And deaths and cusses up here. Yeah, that should be good. That's perfect. I want to be able to see and read stuff. Okay, things for the quest log. We want a compass, which is 220. 220 geo. That's our currency. 220 geo. I'm just gonna say G. Yeah, there we go. Or lowercase g. And so I guess my first order of business is I need to go out and kill a bunch of bugs. Let me move the chat on that. Oh no, we can leave the chat there. That's fine. We need to kill a bunch of bugs. Let's see, is there anything in chat about sentience and sapience? Mo Malley says maybe it's like a Narnia thing where some of the bugs talk and others don't. I think that you kill things that don't talk. You kill plenty of things that don't talk. Or like bosses that don't talk, who seem like they are like the mantis lords. They're like, you know, running a fortress. It seems very like unified and militaristic. I don't know. Let's see. You can also just call me Ham. I've changed it to Country Ham in a bunch of Discord servers because having a unique nickname isn't as necessary in Discord. Ham it is. Thotham. The boss is a reference to two things, one of which is the community for that streamer. It's Latin for cow. Oh, is it I'm not trying to out what streamers you watch, but the Guilty Gear streamer, I forget her name. The Matisse are in their right mind, but the Traitor Lord is not. Yeah, I guess that'll be interesting to kind of like think about these bosses as characters too, which is something that the Dark Souls series really asks you to do. Like, you are learning about characters through the way that bosses move and the way that bosses are designed, and in like what in some cases like whatever text you get that is pertinent to that boss. The Mantis Lords are in their mind. The Traitor Lord is not. Ooh, that's such a good point. Now that I know what you're talking about, that is such a good point, because I remember the Traitor Lord. That was a boss that I spent a great deal of time on. And so I spent more time thinking about it. And that makes sense. Yeah, I like it. Cool. Okay, other things that I can buy. A quill. If I want to update my map with new areas. I am going to need that at some point. I don't think I need that now. bench pins, mark benches on my map. That's 100. I probably want that. Cocoon pin. Oh, there was a little cocoon, the blue cocoon, in the tutorial area that I didn't find, I don't think. I don't remember if I found it or not. Vendor pins, that'll be useful later once I have more vendors. Hot spring pins, those are kind of few and far between, so that's something to get way later, I think. Scarab markers. These are the ones that I probably want first because I can use them to mark anything that I might need. So back to the quest log, I want to buy red, blue markers from Zelda. And I'm not going to put she's in dirt mouth. I already know that. And that's going to be 200G as well. So really the quest log should be get 420 GO and go back to a Zelda. But in case I don't do these things before the end of stream, I do want the specifics next time. Okay, let's do it. We're on a mission. We have a quest. Also, this as like a beginning of a Metroidvania, like this is when the combat of the game begins. It's really interesting that you are just dropped down in front of two paths that look identical. You could go either way, and both of them are viable paths. There's the thing in Metroid where Metroid 1 introduces you to the game in a way that is fundamentally different than the way that Mario introduces you to the game. In Mario, your goal is to go right. The game drops you on the far left side of the map, and you have all this stuff on the right you can go check out. You go do it, and like it just keeps scrolling, and you never think to go left until like you absolutely need to, and you're like, oh no, I just missed that thing, right? But in Metroid, you try to go right, as Nintendo is sort of trained, like its player base to do, and you hit a brick wall, and you have to go left, and you end up like twisting and turning around all these little hallways, and finding ways to go right. I think that's the way that they formatted it, right? It's not the other way around. So I went left before because I just like instinctually remembered that this is the way to that big open chamber where Cornifer is at the end of it. But I should go right and see what's over there. I would actually love to fight a boss at some point in today's stream, and I have like 45 minutes left. So I'm going to try to explore and find a boss. I should add that to my quest log too. But I don't have a great idea of where the first one is at the moment. I'm actually going to add that really quick. Quest log. Find. Oh. Why did I put it in the middle? Find. Whew. Do you guys like my clacky streamer keyboard? Trying to kill first boss. Boom. We're back. Let's do it. One of these quests is getting done. Mo Malley says that screen specifically is meant to echo Metroid. It's either in Zero Mission or Super Metroid where there's an elevator to the above ground part of Zeeb's right at that opening part. Yeah, and I don't know if I ever like said the point that I was ultimately driving at with like the Hollow Knight comparison. But one thing that this does differently than Metroid is that both of the paths are equally viable. So this game is a lot more open than even the Metroid games are, because those are still pretty focused around, find a key, go back to the lock. Find a key, go back to the lock. Find a key, go back to the lock. And like usually there's only a handful of locks available to you at any given moment. But I guess that's not true. I guess that Metroid is maybe more open than I give it credit for. But I think that it mostly has been sort of what's the term, sequence broken by speedrunners. And if you're playing it through just as like a casual player trying to get to the end of the game, a lot of times it feels like you only have 2 or 3 options ahead of you at any given time. Hollow Knight and Dark Souls, in some cases, both feel like there's just so much space to explore, and like you're sort of exploring at the pace of your difficulty, comfortability. That's a huge thing in Elden Ring as well. Like, so many field bosses are completely optional, but they're fun to do if you feel ready to do them. Ham, I was talking about my clicky, mechanical, glowy gamer keyboard. Mo Malley says, most Metroids are pretty linear. Metroid 1 and parts of Super Metroid are open-ended, but it's generally only giving the illusion of non-linearity unless you're using really advanced techniques. Yes, this is exactly what I was trying to get at. And I wasn't sure how true that was because I'm not an expert in, like, the Metroid speedrunning game. But, yeah, I've been playing Metroid Prime, actually, which is a Metroidvania and is considered, like, one... I mean, it's a Metroidvania in the, like, that you explore through the HUD of a shooter, essentially. So it feels like a shooter. It's kind of marketed as a shooter, but it's a Metroidvania. And, like, I am kind of struggling with that game. I've been playing it off and on since it came out. Not because it's hard, but because I'm bored. Because, like, I spend so much time just running in circles trying to find the one door that I'm supposed to go through. And there's a million doors. And, like, the combat in that game, I guess we can debate Metroid Prime in chat if people want to. But the combat in that game just doesn't feel satisfying in the way that the combat in Dark Souls and some really good Metroidvanias, like Symphony of the Night, I think the combat in that feels so good. And, like, so it is, you have this, like, internal motivation to keep playing the game just because it feels good to get better at the game and do those combat encounters. Like, they're snappy and satisfying. But Metroid Prime and, you know, some bad Metroidvanias, like, just feel like a slog because the combat isn't interesting in and of itself. Anyways, I've been brought to this giant hall. Temple of the Black Egg. Oh my gosh, I love this. I love that, you know, this is structured kind of like Dark Souls 2 in that, you know, this is the end point of the game. It's right next to your Firelink Shrine area of Dirtmouth. But in Dark Souls, it's not open. Like, you can't see the thing that you're actually trying to get to until you're done with the game. And you're supposed to, I guess that in Dark Souls, it's kind of being concealed from you for a purpose. Like, you're not supposed to see just how bad things really are. But here, I guess, like, this doesn't feel like the hub of the problem that these people are facing. Like, the problem they're facing is just kind of like inertia. It feels like, you know, society just crumbling in the way that civilizations can. But you see this, like, you get taken to this spot that is, like, so centrally important to it at the beginning, and it's just, like, mystical. It's just this mystery thing that feels not of this world, that, like, you want to know more about, but you can't know more about it because you can't access it yet. And so, like, you're being driven through the game through your sense of curiosity and exploration, and just wanting to know the unknown. I think that, like, the way that it presents itself to you is so interesting. Anyways, this guy, his name is... Did he give me his name? He hasn't given me his name. I like that the game doesn't tell you the character's name until the character tells you the character's name. You only have the information that your little ghosty boy has. He says, hello there. How delightful to meet another traveler on these forgotten roads. You're a short one. You have a strong look about you. I'm Quirrell. I have something of an obsession with uncharted places. Another public transit fan. I see. Another man of culture. This ancient kingdom holds many fascinating mysteries, and one of the most intriguing of them is standing right before us. By the way, I'm going to move chat one more time because it's just... I don't like that I can't read the character name. 1 second. Chat. be shorter. 650. There you go. I'm going to put you right there. Or no. Ah! I just moved the game. Put the chat right here because I don't want it to be, overlapping with character text either. Okay. This ancient kingdom holds many fascinating mysteries, and one of the most intriguing of them is standing right before us. A great stone egg lying in the corpse of an ancient kingdom. And that this egg, is it warm? It certainly gives off a unique air. Can it be opened? There are strange marks all over it. I do so love a mystery, and who knows what other marvels lie even deeper below us. Man, so good. Yeah, that's really cool. I like that it is also sort of presenting it as a potential source of horror as well. Like this is a cosmic horror experience that we are having in Hollow Knight. For so long I felt drawn here. So many tales full of wonders and horrors. No longer could I resist. I just had to see it for myself. And what a time I chose to arrive. This dead world has sprung to life. Yeah, like the fact that he's saying that the world is springing to life right now, we just got sprung to life, and that this central mystery, like this central cosmic mystery at the middle of this game is an egg, which is, a trope in video games. Like there's the great egg in Link to the Past, for example. But that is, like, even Link to the Past egg is kind of cosmic and strange and horrifying if you think about it too long. I said Link to the Past. Link's Awakening. You're correct. Yes, absolutely. So it's like building this sense of expectation for the end of this game. Like, what's going to happen when this egg hatches? Also, catching up with Metroidvania discourse. Thotham says, Prime is a good shooter. It is an okay Metroidvania. I can see how if you love Dark Souls, it might not be what you're looking for. Yeah, and I like a good shooter, too. I like both of the Doom games that I've played. I'm a fan of BioShock, though I know that, like, the shooting in that is not the best. I guess, like, it is probably fair to say that I am more invested in, like, the Metroidvania aspects of any game than, like, shooting as a mechanic. Anyways, moving on to Quirrell. The creatures are riled up and the earth rumbles. The air is thick. I wonder what could have brought it all about. So even these characters aren't fully aware of, like, what the end of civilization they're experiencing has really been brought about from, which I think feels like an authentic experience. I mean, I don't think we're living in, like, the complete end of a civilization. We're not in Dark Souls or Hollow Knight territory by any stretch of the imagination, but there are ways in which, like, it feels like stuff is just kind of breaking down, that it can be hard to pinpoint, like, one particular, like, this is what caused it, And maybe in this game there will be one thing, but I like that that idea that, like, even the characters living in this world are kind of puzzling over that. To preserve in this ruin, that old nail alone just won't be enough. Though that's no problem, one only has to look around. Plenty have come before us, and most have met their grisly end, many more equipped than you and I. I'm sure they wouldn't mind were a fellow explorer to relieve them of their tools. It's a kindness, really. The dead shouldn't be burdened with such things. Yeah, so there's one position on the argument we were having earlier about the morality of killing bugs in these games, or in this game. Quirrell says, you're just kind of... sharing is caring. You're trying to kill these people just because they're not using their stuff. You need to use their stuff. that's a nice thing to do, to take it away from them by killing them. Did you pass that town above? What a gloomy little place. Ooh, that's a vivid phrase. I like it. I like the word gloomy in general. And such majesty hidden right beneath. I suppose that's why they've all headed down here. Who could resist such possibilities? Yeah, that is interesting. Like, just below the surface, it is. There's something that's hinting at a more, like, mystical world of possibility that would maybe inspire travelers like Quirrell or Cornifer or me to just, like, go see what else there is. You know, that's what we're doing when we're coming to a game. We're just seeing what's in it, you know? Truly a marvel. That's it? Yeah, that's it. Okay. I would love to fight some things. I've been really enjoying talking about the lore of Hollow Knight and meeting the delightful characters of Hollow Knight, but I also want to, like, fight. It's a fighting game. Oh, I think this is going to take me to Crystal Peak. I think I do not want to go this way, but I'll keep going until it starts to feel crystally, just to make sure. I need a mental map. The animation being so good also, I think, contributes to how good it feels to play, because the enemies have really good tells, because the tells are well animated. They're memorable, and feel distinctive to whatever character it is you're against. Ooh, this is the thing that killed me in my Steel Soul run. So maybe we should try to kill it. But I need full health probably. Yeah, let's start there. Okay, so jump is Y. Nail is B. I can do little down nails. I can do little up nails, but I'm probably not really going to need to. This guy just wants to bonk me. Bonk emojis in chat for this guy. Whoop! He can do that. He wants to do more than bonk me. Oh! Okay. I'd like to heal. I like that this guy, he has a really limited aggro range, so that you, the player, experiencing your first like difficult combat encounter, or like I'm experiencing my first difficult combat encounter. I guess there are others that you could come across. Like teaches you that there is sort of a push and pull to the fights. Like you will need to pull back and heal yourself, and then re-engage. But a lot of enemies will not do you that courtesy, I don't think. Whoop! You get closer. Whoop! Whoop! Okay. Hope you're enjoying my hand pulses. There's gonna be a lot of them. I can't cuss. Jump. Let's go ahead and get a little bit more health, since I have all this soul. I was talking earlier about the, I didn't really go into it, but the gracefulness of the healing system. Much has been made of, like, which healing system in Dark Souls is, like, the best healing system. There's that H-Bomber guy video where he talks about how the Dark Souls 2 healing system is somehow superior to the Dark Souls 1 healing system, which is a ridiculous claim, I think. There's the Bloodborne one where you kind of like get health back as you are, getting damage on your enemy, which is incentivizing a certain degree of like relentlessness, viciousness on the part of the player, which is like really like puts you in the mindset of the character you're supposed to be playing. Like that's brilliant. The Dark Souls one I think is so clean and simple. It's like you need to get from point A to point B. You can make 5 mistakes. Like, make those mistakes wisely, and like find times to recover from those mistakes carefully, because you can only make 5 of them. In Hollow Knight, you can right now I can really only make 5 mistakes, but because my runs from point A to point B are going to be in many cases way longer than they are in Dark Souls. I get a little bit of that health back by fighting enemies and specifically like taking cover and like taking care of myself when I have the chance to do that. Like I can't just be fighting all the time. I am a small bug ghost boy, and I need to like, you know, find places to rest and places to hide and places to heal myself. Jump. And it just balances itself so perfectly on a mechanical level. Nice. 45 Geo. Oh, and I get a worm! I forgot about these little wormies. Can I talk to you? I cannot. I'll break it open. And then he runs away, and there's like the room where all the worms go to, which is a neat little system, I guess. It's just telling you essentially how many secrets there are in the game to find. In Metroid, they use the energy tanks and like missile upgrades and things like that. They hide them throughout the world, but you never really know how many you're looking for or what area they might be about. Though I guess there is like the X-ray stuff that you can get in some of the Metroid games. In this, there's just like one room for like all the worms, like you know, the secret ends of the map, the corners of the map, so that you know essentially how much of it you've explored. You don't have to go find every single secret one. Like there's a lot of optional end game and post game content in here for freaks who just like really wants to get good. I don't know if that will be me, honestly, but like it's a cool system, and I like that the Hollow Knight presents that there for people who want it. It's sort of a what's the word? There's a term for like a difficulty system that sort of adaptive difficulty, maybe, adapts to the players. It's like a self-guided differentiation, I guess, would be the educational way to put it. This is Crystal Peak. Let's look at my map. So I am like at the far end of that first layer, because we see like the mystic egg, like right in the middle. So there is a boss icon on the map. If I go down one layer and then down one more layer and then find a way to get up, I can maybe get to the boss. Let's do that. I like also that this map is like detailed enough to where you can go the general direction of what you're trying to get to, but Cornifer is not an expert map maker, and you're getting Cornifer's map. You're not getting FromSoft's Elden Ring map. It's just like you're having to literally feel your way through this world. Ooh, Geo. Yeah, we want that. Whoop. I would like that Geo. I also like how the Geo that spills out of the enemies like bounces around. So you will by necessity end up having to like go places you didn't want to go and like find your way back to the place that you used to be, that you were trying to get to, because it's just going to go everywhere. That's fun. The game has a really strong central ethos about exploration and like challenge and reward. Whoop. 104. Okay, so we're ultimately trying to get 400 something Geo. Whoop! I cannot believe I got out of that. Sad Geo, lost forever. Go say hi to the lady in Crystal Peak. I am gonna save her, because right now I'm on a quest to get Geo and fight bosses. Oh wait, I was trying to go down, right? I think I'm gonna end up going down in this room, maybe. Geo. I like how when you sit at a bench, you hear the pins scratching as you update your map. Absolutely. And like, it doesn't update until you sit at a bench, right? I think that's true. Are we in the boss zone? We have 0 deaths and 0 cusses, people. I have not fought the boss yet, so I should probably not give myself too much credit. I hear, is that a worm? Oh, that is a worm. But I can't get to it because I can't double jump yet. Unless there's some sort of secret that I'm not seeing. Oh no, maybe I can use the flying dude. Can I bounce on his head? Hold on. This is a fun usage of like the way the enemies respawn. You can re-attempt challenges by walking out of the room and walking back in. Oh, there is no flying guy. There was a way to go down back there. Yep, I must have missed it. Let's go this way. Hopefully I can get to at least 200 Geo by the end of this stream. I think that if I get this boss, I will definitely have enough for one, if not both, of my purchasing goals. We're going down. Okay, and there's going to be the boss door immediately to our left. Oh, but we're locked out. Ah! Team Cherry. You're smart. I like your game design. So now, because I can't get through there, I need to go the long way around. Cool. This is like a level. I like it. Oh, I need dash to get that worm. That makes sense. Okay, I need to go back up. Up. Hey. Thank you for the geo. I appreciate it. I'm just scrounging money together. Can I go up? Oh, I need to go to the right and then go up. I need a heal. Yeah, I love that circular, kind of cyclical level design. And it feels so like simultaneously embedded to Dark Souls and doing its own thing. On the path. Also, by the way, I don't really know how long it's going to take me to stream this game, but I'm assuming it's going to take me much longer than it has taken me to stream the Dark Souls games. I don't think I'm going to be doing a lot of like prep or practice off screen for this. So I'm just going to be feeling my way through the game, reading as much of the lore stuff as I can, taking it at my own pace, streaming when I feel like it and have time. I'm trying to make it a pleasant experience and not a grueling one. But if Hollow Knight does take a really long time and people kind of get hungry for more games, I may like switch it up and do like jump back and forth between different games. Because again, this is going to be a long haul, sort of like Elden Ring was a long haul. But I'm determined to not let it get to be like a grueling one. That's probably not going to take me the right way. I think I need to go all the way down. Here's Cornifer. Oh, and Cornifer, like, I was trying to figure out what that icon was on that section of the map, but that's where Cornifer, he drew his own weird little face. I thought it was like a jellyfish or something. There is a boss that you fight later that looks kind of like that. Okay, we go down. And to the right. There are too many corners to explore all of them. Look at all this geo! I probably should have found this before leaving Christians. But that'll show me to not explore the nooks and crannies like a little bug. I like that the geo does not disappear. It will stay as long as you need it to. It's not like the rings in Sonic or something. Ooh. Yes! We have illusory walls. And I love that little sound that it makes when you hit it in this game. That is something that Dark Souls gets very right. Is like when you enter an area, getting like the like gong sound and seeing the name of the area, like things feel momentous and like important when you encounter them. Oh, like that gate shutting behind me. Whoop. The game is conditioning me to explore every corner before I go to my goal, but it's also using that impulse that it knows I have to force me into little challenges. It's like the game is telling me, you cannot escape every challenge, you little ghost boy. Oop. I think that one way in which my taste in games has changed pretty profoundly as an adult than it did as a kid is that I think as a kid I again mostly wanted games that like made me feel strong or powerful or cool or whatever, and then for a long time I thought about games as stories, and I wanted games to have good narratives, and I wanted to think about games like in the same way I think about literature. But I think where I'm at with games now is that one thing that games have over literature, like one way in which games are unlike literature and need to be assessed in a different way, is that games are fundamentally built around challenge. Like the way you experience a game is through overcoming challenges. And so a game can have a great story that's all well and good, but if the challenges in the game are not interesting or fun or satisfying, you're not really even gonna want to see that story. And for some games that really work challenge in to like a centralized space, like they are in Dark Souls and Hollow Knight and Fighters, like you really have to interrogate your own relationship to challenge and like your a hot spring. Oh, it will give me more soul. Nice. Oh, and a bench too. I guess what I'm saying is like a game being fun, I think, kind of comes from you liking to learn the thing that it's teaching you how to do. And you having to be willing to learn it. Like games are fundamentally educational. Like they are systems of learning. You have to like have a good mindset around learning, and you have to like be willing to make the mistakes that learning requires, because learning does require mistakes. We learn through failure. So this game is going to see me failing a lot, I'm sure. But mindset is the thing. What is this? This is a dead end. Or it looks like a dead end. Don't tease me with the illusory walls. Hollow Knight. Ooh, that's some geo that I really want. I can jump and then go left. That's going to stick me further down. Like, this is the thing that Hollow Knight does. It's like, the map is so big, and it's, like, you think you're trying to go from point A to point B, but like you keep getting rerouted further and further away from home. And there are times where you find yourself like so deep in the dangerous, like, dark spaces of this map that you get really confused and lost and hopeless at times. Is that the public transit station? That's what that sign looked like to me. Speaking of games and story and whatnot, when are you going to play Outer Wilds? I would like to play Outer Wilds. I think that would be fun. I don't have immediate plans to do it, but I'm pro Outer Wilds being played by me. Yes, this is the public transit station. Inspect. A toll machine with the symbol of a stag. Insert geo. Yes! I will spend 50 of my hard-earned geo on bringing public transit back to Hallownest. Yes. Yes. Trains. Oh, I gotta ring the bell with my sword? That's so cute. Hello. Look at this guy. The last stag. Greetings, little one. It's been an age since I heard the ringing of a station bell. It echoed down the stagways and called me to you. By the way, like, the last X is such a trope boss name in Dark Souls. Like, you see so many, like, the last giant or last old demon king is like the last of the demons in Dark Souls 3. There's always like, this is the end of the species or whatever. The fact that they're using that naming convention for like this really charming, cute, like old train conductor basically is delightful. Like, I think this game has such a nice sense of humor and whimsy to it to balance out like the grueling difficulty sometimes. Anyways, he says, greetings, little ones. Been an age since I last heard the ringing of the station bell. It echoed down the stagways and called me to you. I've grown stiff and tired over these many years, and I've forgotten much, but the sound of the bell will always call me back. These stagways stretch the depths of Hallownest. If you want to travel them, hail me from the platform. I will take you where you need to go. Thotham says, I know I have said this about everyone, but I also love The Last Stag. The characters are just so good. They're all so good in Hollow Knight. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Dartmouth. And because I have, now that I've spent 50, I have 200 more that I could use to go back to Dartmouth and buy those 200, a compass. But I'm also kind of close to a boss. And I have a save point right here. I know Cam is always like, let's keep it to 2 hours, but I may go a little bit over 2 hours if people in chat are not like, you're ready to check out. If people are checking out, I am also down to go. I'm down to go back to Dartmouth and buy my compass and be done. But if people are down for like maybe 15 to 30 more minutes, I would like to go check out the boss. Any votes in chat? We are missing one more I like, the cicada. It was a long time ago, but I remember when these highways and crossroads pulsed with life. These are the paths I first carried passengers through when I was young. Those travelers are long gone, yet still I remain. Now it seems it's just you and I and the furtive creatures scratching and squirming all around us. The prose in this game is good, like, just the writing. In the Souls games, the writing feels like it's trying to hit a specific cadence, like a cadence that is like the Dark Souls cadence or like the Bloodborne cadence or whatever. And this is pulling from that, but again, doing its own thing. This cadence is so much, it is like simultaneously kind of grotesque and archaic, but also kind of funny and cute, as the art design of the game is. Eager to travel the Stagways? Just hop upon that platform, give me the signal, we'll send you on your way. Okay, I'm gonna try the boss. I'm gonna try one run at the boss. I might die. I'm still at 0 deaths, so either I die and we go get a compass, or we kill a boss and end this with an even bigger splurge at man, I keep forgetting her name. Hold on, let's look at the quest log. What's her name? Izelda's shop. A bigger splurge at Izelda's shop. If you die, you lose your geo. Oh yeah, there's the thing about we should talk about that. I should maybe like go back and get my geo if I do die, because it would be worth talking about the like soul recovery system, how that works. What are you? Oh, you're a shield boy. Oh. I want to get you. Oh. I need to get away from this guy. I need to just be whiff punishing. I need to wait for them. I don't need to be the one to try to attack first. But I did. Look, I did it. He fakes me out. I also think it will help like having some more vocabulary about how fighting combat or like combat mechanics in games work. Usually the soul recovery happens outside the boss in like Dark Souls. That's true. Hello. You know what? I'm pretty lost. Wait. You know what would make more sense? Is if we went back to Dartmouth. Because this is something that's great about public transit. It's not teleportation. I can just go back. I can get on the same train and go back. And it will take like a second. It takes longer than that in the real world, of course. But here it is. But I want to be able to see where I'm at on the map while I'm looking for the boss. That is the move. Take me home. Nice little loading animation. I like it. Real quick. But gets the vibe across. How do I get out of here? Can I not? Is it not open yet? Can I talk to you about this? This place. We are near the surface, I believe. There is a town here. You should take the opportunity to rest. This place was once full of travelers coming and going. It seems much quieter now. Oh, far right is a switch. Do you have more to say, by the way, about Dartmouth? No, that's it. Aha. That is what switches look like. Important to know. Okay, I want to talk to Izelda.
Bapanada.
Yes, we want that. And I have 230, just enough. I actually wouldn't have had enough before. Okay, and I can equip the charms while resting at a bench. Which, you know, the charm system is something worth talking about at some point, but maybe not right now. I just don't have enough to play around with to really, you know, have much to say. But I do like the charm system. I think it's cool. Give me the boss. Mo Malley says, as a public transit nerd, I think we should also appreciate that Hollow Nest embraces true multimodal travel between walking, the stag, and the trolley. I agree. See, like in Knoxville, we have a bus system. And that bus system is pretty good depending on where you are and depending on where you want to get to. Like if I want to go to my work from my house, that is like a 10-minute bus ride. But if I want to go anywhere else, it's much more of a like a toss-up whether or not I'm actually going to be able to use the bus, because the bus is not going to take me that far away, or that bus line is not going to that part of town or whatever. And this is why you need to be able to switch back and forth between faster, more like high like volume, I guess, travel in something like a train, and smaller, more like short distance travel, like buses, to kind of solve what's called the last mile problem of like people getting off of a train and their train station is still a mile away from where they want to go. Like being able to jump back and forth between a train, a bus, even like public bikes or scooters or whatever, like makes just like movement through space and like living in a place so much more enjoyable. There's going to be so many public transit speeches during this stream, by the way. I thought there was a worm back here. Give me that wormy. This loop, I think, was kind of designed for you to have about 250 geo by the time you found the last stag. Oh yeah, there's the switch. So I'm opening the shortcut. I'm opening the Dark Souls shortcut. Very nice. Yeah, level design, game design, like it's all tops. It's all tops right now. I'm probably going to have more complaints as we go along, but where am I? Oh, I need to go down one. Or was that it? Oh, the stag is right in front of the boss door. If this is indeed the boss door. This one right here. The chat is covering it. It was kind of hard to see. Yeah, here we go. This is good. Oh, one of you. Whoop. Oh, I got stuck in here. Whoop. Let me around you. Oh! I almost died. Oh, I did die! One death. Okay. Let's go back and get that soul since it's so close to the stopping point. And at our first death for the death counter. What an accomplishment. Let's go. Hello. Is it free? Is public transit free in Hollow Nest? It is. Because Hollow Knight is public transit propaganda. Pro public transit propaganda. As it should be. I'm going to save right here. Oh, you have to pay to open the stations. But, so does Knox County. Knox County also needs to pay to open the station. Somebody's got to do it. Somebody pay up. I need a train. You mean to tell me you're going to open a baseball stadium and not a train to get to and from and around said baseball stadium? The lesson: taking care of infrastructure costs up front saves in the long term. Absolutely. That is correct. You have to pay for infrastructure. It's true. Thank you everyone for showing up to our Hollow Knight / Numtot stream. Okay, so this is my geo. I left it behind. The way this functions similar to Dark Souls is that, like, when you die in Dark Souls, you lose all of your experience points, and you can get those experience points back by getting to the spot where you died. So the game is essentially like always asking you or daring you, can you do better than you did last time? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, there's really no true punishment for death other than time wasted having to walk from one end of the map to another. But that is also not necessarily time wasted if you, enjoy the combat, and B, are like enjoying learning and getting better, and like kind of compressing that space by making the combat easier for yourself by doing it with more precision, right? So in Hollow Knight, it does a similar thing. One of the ways in which it's stealing from Dark Souls is allowing you to get your currency back by, again, can you do better than you did last time? But specifically, you got to do better in Hollow Knight because you have to actually beat this thing. It is now an enemy. There's an additional challenge. I don't have to just get to where I got last time. I have to get to where I got last time and face an additional challenge. And that's going to be tricky in areas where, like, I died around 1 million enemies. And like, that is just going to make that particular combat encounter that much harder. And so, like, the way in which the game is, like, constantly, like, kind of playing with your zone of proximal development is really interesting. Also, Ted is right that, like, you don't necessarily need Geo after a certain point. And another thing that I just remembered is that, like, your shade is what it's called. Your shade gets more powers as you get more powers. So, like, the way in which it is adding challenge to your loop every time is sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Like, exponential. Like, you're not gonna have to just fight X amount of things plus a shade every time. It's like plus a really high level shade. Like, the shades are higher level as you get further into the game. Really interesting system. I like it. Hello, man. Okay. We're not going to get stuck in that corner. We're not going to automatically jump. We're going to wait for the tells. We're getting close. Is he always going to do swings until he gets close to the corner? He might. Oh. Let's heal. He can't go back here. Safe. Yeah, look at that Geo. Whoop. You're a jumpy one. You're tall and you jump. I like that. Vertical character design to imply vertical movement. Is this my boss? It might be. Nope, I think I got... Oh no, this maybe is it. This maybe is it. Well, maybe not. Where am I? I'm close. Oh yeah, there's like a little... It's like a little cage match. This is the room where the boss is. And I'm going to drop down in there. And then I can exit either way, I believe. Ooh, this is interesting. The 3 eggs. Are these going to light up as I, like, accomplish 3 things throughout the game? I forget. Oh, hello. So he functions kind of similarly to the big guys I fought before. He has a bigger weapon, so he has more range than them. But he jumps really high, so I can get around him much easier than I can them. Okay. Graceful design. I like it. Oh! And all of his strikes do that. Oh no, not all of them, not all of them. That one is going to, though. And I just wasted some soul. Let's get away. I should have healed instead of attacked there. Heal. Jump and heal. I don't have enough soul. Oh, I got it! Oh no, is there a second phase? I think there's a second phase. Is there not? Hello? Hello? Oh, yeah. I thought there was a second phase. Come over to me. I don't want to have to be going to you. Oh, man, I should have gone under him. Whoop. Over here. Whoop. Yes! Are you now dead? Or is there a third? Oh, I gotta hit the head. You have to attack his face. Oh, I just found that out. And I died. Thank you for jumping in, Ted. Another death for the death counter. I think I got it, though. I think attempt 2 will be it. Let me catch up on chat really quick. Mo Malley says, Mayor Kincannon, you better be on this stream. That's right. Mayor Kincannon, where are you? Thotham says, Geo is interesting because you don't need it after a certain point. There are late game sinks, but they are kind of optional. Finral says, the bosses are kind of sad without the music. I think there is no music in this boss fight. I was not hearing music. No, that may have been what you were implying. I don't know. Oh, and now that I'm thinking about it, I like that they put the big bonk guy on the boss run back, so you can kind of practice those specific mechanics of like jumping out of the way and you know, backing up and healing, and jumping over those little wave forms that he sends. My music slider was turned off earlier. Oh. Wow. I have not been enjoying this game's beautiful music. That's something to talk about in stream too. I don't have time to get into how good the soundtrack is. Nope, that's stuck. Let's heal. Oof. I think I need to wait for him to de-aggro. There we go. Give him some space. Ugh. Oof. This is rough. This does not bode well. Oh, that's the only time you do damage when he's fallen over. That is very good. Whoop. I need to stop instinctually jumping after every. Okay. Geo. Let's heal. Wonder how many times I have to knock his helmet off, as long as I'm getting a good amount of swings in. Let's see. Souls, my Geo. should probably be using the correct terminology. There's kind of a rhythm of like running away and returning to the enemies, at least in the way that I find myself playing. I'm invincible for a minute. Oh, and now we have an added challenge. We have things falling from the ceiling. But also know when to get out. Whew. Okay, so things only fall from the ceiling sometimes. That's when he does that. It's not constant. Oof. X. Maybe stop doing that. Oh, now I'm okay. So now the things are falling every time he hits. Regardless of what kind of things. That is an interesting way to do a phased boss. I would really love Oof. Okay, yes. One life left. Please let this be the end. Nope, it sure ain't. Oh, maybe it is. Yes! City Crest. Can I read an item description? Are you telling me I can read an item description right now? How do I look at that? No. Thank you for the bonks in chat, by the way. I really appreciate that. Ooh, is this like a crystal lizard? What is this? What are you? You're nothing. Okay. Let's go back to Dirtmouth, having killed the false knight. spend our hard-earned geo. Oh no, I only have 177. That's enough for one of the things that I need to buy. And that marks off almost everything on my quest log for the day. Let's save. Get on a train. Oh, it's on the stream with your car, so you have to hit R or something. Okay. So I need to be at a bench, probably? Oh no. R. Aha, okay. So this will show me like a large scale map of Hollow Nest. And then here's my items. I do have item descriptions to read. Oh my gosh. Okay, so my sword. The nail. A traditional weapon of Hollow Nest. Its blade is blunt with age and wear. Focus. Focus collected soul to repair your shell and heal damage. Strike enemies to gather soul. Map. Map of Hollow Nest, partially filled out by Cornifer. Without a quill, it cannot be updated. And then City Crest. Stone slab bearing the crest of the Hollow Nest capital city. Has an insert on the back that would fit into a slot. I wonder what the Hollow Nest capital city is. This is going to get me into something. This has been a good stream, people. I know that we had some audio issues at the beginning, but I think if I just don't mess with settings too much, it should be sustainable. I'm going to go buy a thing real quick. And I'll just be hopping on like when it's convenient to me. I'll try to aim for the afternoon because it seems like that's helpful for a lot of people, but I'm sure there are other people who it is not helpful for, and those people can jump in chat at any point or let me know on Discord. By the way, like the Discord that you can join with like the tiny URL at the bottom, tinyurl.com/swaffstream, that is going to get you into a like a read-only Discord where I'm essentially just posting when I'm going to be streaming. So if you want updates on when more streams are coming, like that is the place to do it. The reason I have it read-only is because I obviously have some students or former students who like watch my stream and contribute to my chat, and I want like all of those interactions to be public. Like if there's anything that's behind like a password of like my own private server, there starts to be like legal liability for stuff like that, right? So if you want to tell me what time a stream would be good for you, chat is unfortunately maybe the only place to do it, but you know, a lot of people have ways to reach me other than chat. So yeah, I think that's probably it. Let me see if this guy's anything else for me to say. I never thought I'd see such a thing. The Stag Station has opened. That building lay silent since before even my time. Oh, I've heard the tales of the glorious lines, a web of tunnels running all through the kingdom. Not that I'll be traveling them, mind you. I'm quite content where I am.
Oh,
did you visit that temple? A strange building, I've heard, though I'd never dare the journey myself. The braver among us once went there to pray and said they felt at peace within the walls. After a while, they stopped going. I wonder what changed. Okay, and then there's just like, you can save and rest. Yeah, okay, so we've established today that Hollow Knight is pro-public transit propaganda, and we love it for that. Thank you for watching, everybody. This has been a fun first Hollow Knight stream. I'm really excited about this game. It's so fun, it's so good, but it is going to be long and difficult, but I think that we're going to be able to do it, or I'm going to be able to do it. As long as there are people watching and giving me like any sort of feedback, I am down to do it for however many folks show up. It's a fun way to just kind of like chill with my friends, you know. So yeah, we'll look at the map. Thotham says King's Pass, Forgotten Crossroads. Is that the map we're looking at, or this one? I think that maybe, I'm not sure what you're wanting me to see, Thotham, but I am not seeing it. anyways, we're gonna leave it there, people. I'll be back maybe in a couple of days with another stream. Maybe I'll do one Monday. Maybe I'll do one Tuesday. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But check the Discord for updates. Bye, all. See ya.